everyone, friends of First of All Species. I'm Daisy Hine, and we're back with another episode of Winds of Change. Now, last time we had our big daddy dragon, shouldve, join our group. I went through all the heart-to-hearts with everybody. We have a full line of people, all hearts, all books, everything like that. And I really, before turning on the camera, I spent like 20 minutes searching to see if I could find anything that I was missing. I wasn't able to. If there is something I'm missing, they must have hit it pretty well. So now that everything is good, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go on to the next one. World map. Alright. Oh wait, hold up. Chose to play with Damek and convert Pellegrino to the barracks. You elected Morty as the elder of Valinorth. You chose to form a treaty with Alex. You let Grizz have his redemption. You use the spiritual energy to create artificial seers. You appointed Howl as the Monarch Advisor. You allied yourself with Vivian at the Colosseum. You let shouldve assist the rebellion. Okay, so I guess those are the choices that have gotten me to where I am thus far. Let's see, that's only 80%. Yeah, hold on one sec. Yeah, so each one of those were 10 points, right? So we've only done like 80%. So we need, there's gotta be 2 more big choices, I guess. Traveling to Balteus is the point of no return. Make sure you have completed all the content you desire. There will be no coming back. Act 5 is the finale. Travel to Balteus? Hell yeah, balls deep, let's go! I make my way to the docks, happy to see that almost everyone else has done the same. Our forces line the entire area. Dozens of ships are ours to command. We stand a real chance. Making my way down to the docks, I notice all of our forces talking amongst themselves. This is the unity that our world needed, the unity that we're fighting for. Although not everyone saw eye to eye, they could all coexist with one another. There would be no more oppression for those who thought differently than our rulers. That is, of course, if we won. Milos is nowhere to be seen, but somehow I'm not surprised. He came to Alarinthia and back, and for that I was grateful. Wait, Milos came with us to Alarinthia? We never once saw him there, right? I'm not crazy, right? It was time for him to rest and focus on what to do next. I noticed shouldve helping our forces load supplies into the boat. The gamble of letting him join our side seems to be paying off. I'm certain his help would be invaluable as we entered Balteus. As I continue down the docks, eyes start to fixate on me. Not just me, but the blade upon my back as well. They all knew who I was. Well, I'd fucking hope so. At this moment, I feel the weight resting on my shoulders, but I stand strong. This was a burden that I was ready to carry. No, this was a burden that I was born to carry. I smiled at them as I walked by, and they do so in turn. As I walk, I eventually run into Howl. He's overseeing everyone's efforts, making sure it goes smoothly. There was a lot to transport. We'd all need weapons, food, and drink.
We find this army quite impressive. So many people are willing to fight for our cause. Let us hope that the rest of the world accepts your rule.
Suppose we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I nod, that would be our next challenge. They wouldn't just bow to the new rulers overnight. It takes some serious effort, coordination, and planning.
We thought you deserved a break, so we took action. Your energy is best conserved until we reach Balteus. You needn't worry about stalking or manning the ships.
I smile, thankful that Hal is taking the initiative. I definitely need to use the voyage as time to prepare. I wasn't as skilled with the blade as I could be. I needed to practice.
By the way, we made sure we're all in the same boat. You and your closest comrades, together in these final moments. We thought it fitting, since this is the end of our long journey.
Fair enough. Yeah, having my friends close by would be a big help. This was a stressful time, and my comrades gave me a sense of comfort. There was no other group of people I'd rather have side by side as we reach the end.
We think it may be time to board the ship, Monarch. Leading by example is a good idea. Too many people just standing around. If we show that we're ready to leave, they might take it as a sign to hurry up.
Fair enough. I nod and we start making our way toward the boat. Our vessel is the same one we used to get to Alarinthia. It's a bit bigger than the rest and would work as a mobile HQ. When I get to the deck, I turn around and look at the docks. Everyone is saying their final goodbyes since we might not make it back. I give them all the time they need and slowly watch as they board our fleet. Actually, I might not make it back either. That thought still fills me with fright. Taking one last look at the Mazaean soil, I say goodbye under my breath. What happened next would change the course of Alarinthia's history forever. Turning around to face the deck, I notice shouldve is waving me over. I walk toward him, wondering what it could be about. This seems important. As I make my way across the ship, I notice all my comrades scurrying about.
I'm glad that they put us all in the same boat. I must say, I've gotten used to you and your friends. Being placed anywhere else would be pretty uncomfortable.
Aw, I like him.
I just wanted to tell you that I gave Hal some information. He's forming a plan of attack as we speak, so it definitely helped. When it comes to Balteus and the triumpverint, I know more than anybody. But I guess he knows a bit about Balteus as well. I find it hard to believe that there's a legion of spirits inside of him. Crazier things have happened, I guess. It's just really interesting.
Oh yeah, the more you talk to him, the more crazy he sounds.
If he survives the war, I'd love to learn more about the monarchy. You should study them as well, since you're next in line for the throne. It might be helpful to know what legacy you're carrying on, right?
Yep, that's true, but there would be a better time and place. Right now, my main focus was taking down the triumvirate. Until the throne was mine, all of that should be off the table. shouldve nods and decides to change the subject. It's remarkable how easy it was to get along with him. Until just recently, he seemed like such a cold, heartless killer.
They might not tell your allies that I gave them this information, though. Not everybody trusts me, so it would probably just cause more harm than good. I'm not here to cause harm, so we all agreed it was best to omit a few facts.
Fair enough. It makes sense, so I understand where they're coming from. Fighting amongst ourselves is the last thing we need before the final battle. It was time to stand strong and united. A time to trust one another unconditionally.
That's it, really. I just thought you deserved to know it came from me. I did promise information that would help your final attack, after all. If anything else comes to mind, I'll make sure to bring it to attention.
Aw, he's a good boy. He's definitely going to great lengths to make himself seem genuine. That's good. There was a lot of doubt in the air surrounding his alliance. The people may not know he tipped us off, but they really didn't have to. He turns away from me and stares off into the distance. I guess this talk is over. I decide to make my way to Damek and Hal and see what information he gave them. But before I can get there, I'm interrupted by my comrades. They seem really excited. We exchange hugs and pleasantries for a few moments. Are they really happy, or are they just putting on an act? It's hard to tell since this is the calm before the storm.
Hey there, Monarch. Glad to see you made it here. I'm happy we're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me feel way better. If I was stuck with other people, I'd be worried, but in this situation, I'm not. I'm perfectly comfortable.
I'm just doing my best to hang in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
This whole life at sea thing really isn't my style. I can't wait to get back and settle down for good.
Knock on wood, bro. Don't get arrogant before the final battle. This is a huge gamble. You need to give it your all.
Me? Arrogant? Never.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I need to take my mind off of this water stuff. How about we go sit in the crew quarters and play some cards?
Sure, but I think Hal is about to make a speech. He's been lost in conversation with Damek for a while now. I think I heard them talking about our upcoming plan of attack.
All right. I can wait. Maybe you should get over there, Monarch. I'm pretty sure that's something you'll want to be a part of.
Well, if y'all would stop interrupting everything I do. That's true. And I was making my way over there anyway. Ulrich and Pro go about their business, but Balteus and Morty stay.
Good luck, Monarch. I hope we get to spend more time together. But I understand if we don't get to. This is probably the most important moment of your life. So do whatever you need.
Yeah, as much as we need you, I think the world needs you more. Hopefully this isn't goodbye. But there's always a chance that it is. Since we're going to Balteus, we need to treat that as a real option.
It's true, as grim as it made the conversation feel. Before I can respond, they both step forward and hug me at the same time. Aw, three-way hug! I let out a soft laugh and wrap my arms around them. Together, we've all come so far.
Thanks for everything, Monarch. I think you have some planning to do, so I'll let you go.
Yeah, just know that I'll never forget our time together. If we play our cards right, then we can have more of that after the war. I know things have been crazy, but with you two by my side, it's been easier.
With the hug broken, we nod at one another with big smiles. I'm sure we'd see each other again, so I don't let it get me down. There was no way we'd get to the end of this without crossing paths again. I make my way over to Damek and Hal, scanning my surroundings as I do. Our pirate allies run about the ship, making last-minute preparations and adjustments. It's nice to know that we had their sailing expertise, so many important people were on board. Because of that, something told me that our ship would be the very front of the pack. But I wouldn't know for sure until I talked to Damek and Hal. They turned to face me. I can't tell that they're stressed out. I could tell they're stressed out. It's apparent on their face. I asked them what's up.
Hey, Monarch. We were just taking care of some planning. I think we have a pretty good idea of what we're going to do. Now that we've talked it out, I think our chances are great.
Damek is correct. Our confidence has increased tenfold. Thanks to some last-minute information, we now have the edge. Hopefully we can keep that when we put our plan into practice.
They both glance over at Sylvie. I know that he gave them the information. I'm glad that they trusted him enough to base their plan around his intel. Back when we left Alarinthia, our alliance and trust seemed so shaky.
We would like to tell everybody what we're planning. If we stand at the head of the ship, we'll have a better platform to speak. They might want to hear from you too, Monarch, so be prepared.
I stand back and watch as he takes slow steps towards the head of the ship. I didn't even know what they were planning, so I'd be learning at the same time. However, due to the fact that they were working together, I knew we were in good hands. Alex watches him pass by, and I can tell that he's tired of waiting around. It wouldn't be much longer before we set sail, so I hope he can wait a bit longer. Once the pirates start preparing the ship to leave, their shouts would drown everything out. After a few more moments, he reaches the head of the ship and clears his throat. Gathering the attention of everyone nearby, he mounts a crate to get higher ground. A silence overtakes the ship, but he has no problem rising to overcome it.
Here we stand, on the eve of our final attack. We know that many of you are wondering what is going to happen. We can share a bit of information, but the rest must wait until later. We should arrive in Balteus just as the sun is rising. When we do, we'll meet in a central location for one final meeting. It's important to get everybody up to speed before taking any big steps. Our first big step, however, is to secure the Grand Library. Holding the owner hostage, we'll station ourselves there as a new HQ. If you're wondering why we've chosen that location, our reasoning is twofold. We've learned that the honor guard cannot set foot inside the property.
Oh, hey.
There's some sort of ward in effect, presumably so the owner can be alone. We're not sure why they require this, but we know they're important to our enemy. That is part of our second reason. With them as our hostage, we can extract information. We need every bit of intel we can get. Anything to help us in our next step, the final attack. While information is being extracted, we can use the safety of the library to rest and recuperate. After that rest, we will gather one more time and begin our final assault. This will be the end. The Monarch will lead a small team and infiltrate the castle, attacking the triumpverint directly. The rest of us will lure the honor guard to the town square and fight them there as a distraction.
Yeah.
With a distraction as large as we're planning, the Monarch should be unimpeded. She will kill the triumpverint and destroy the large idol at the back of their chambers. We believe this idol to be of importance to them, so we must destroy it in order to win. With the blade plunged into that idol, the Monarch will tap into its power. She will use it to deactivate the honor guard, and the suits of armor will crumble. At that point, victory is ours. We will gather in the castle atrium and count the survivors.
Everyone looks at me as Hal explains this part of the plan. It's my first time hearing it, but all of it makes perfect sense. It's a good strategy. We don't know what the idol is, but I could definitely use its power, like I did at our HQ. With the triumvirate dead and their armor guard dissolved, victory was ours. We'd still have to worry about Halen and Shane, but I'm sure they'd pop up somewhere. I feel confident. Giving everyone a nod, they turn their attention back to Damek's platform.
As soon as we arrive, we will share this plan with everybody else. So, until then, we'd advise getting some rest. You're going to need it. That is, unless there's anything you'd like to say to us, Monarch.
All eyes are on me once again, and I take a few steps forward. Hal jumps off the crate, leaving me a platform to stand on. A speech? I'd never given one of those in my life. I don't know. My uncertainty must come across in my demeanor as they start urging me on. They even break away from each other, leaving a clear path for me to walk forward. I am technically their leader. It makes sense for me to talk. I'd have to get used to this. I continue to walk forward, and notice smiles appear on their faces. The impact that my actions and attitude have on everyone here is very clear. It's a good thing that this level of responsibility was given to someone who can handle it. No, the fuck I can't! A few moments later, I'm on top of the crate, matching the deep gaze of all my subjects. Silence overtakes everything, and I hear the calm of the water against the docks of Mazeo. It was clear that I'd have to break the silence. I clear my throat and think of what I should say. Speech is a culmination of choices. We stand here today as harbingers of justice. Through us, it is the time for the monarchy to speak. And it is time for our enemies to realize that we will stop at nothing to see them fall. They start murmuring amongst themselves, nodding in agreement with everything I say. The road of this journey has been paved with compromise and change. But they have seen our changes. We do not conform to the idea of purity and perfection. And that is exactly why we will win. A bunch of them start cheering with wide grins on their faces. I'm speaking from the heart, speaking from instinct, and it's working. I smile now too, and my words from this moment on are filled with confidence. We will leave behind a world of freedom. We will embrace everyone who has been wrongfully oppressed. Put simply, we will give hope to those who have found their own was stolen. Due to the triumpverint's rule, that number is far too high, but it ends now. No longer will victims find themselves blinded by revenge. No longer will servants find themselves lost to a quest for redemption. The crowd is roaring with applause, cheering on my every word. I know they want more, so I try and think what I should say next. We have more power than any group of people who have ever spoken up against the triumvirate. With visions just like my own, we have an army of seers willing to fight for us. Able to see the future and every move the enemy can make. We will be unstoppable. I grab the blade from my back and slowly unsheath it. But most importantly, we have this. Holding the blade out, they explode with even more applause. I held a symbol that almost guaranteed our victory and our freedom. Nobody has ever had or ever will have a better chance of taking them down. Using this blade, I will secure a future that would make the monarchy proud. When all of this is over, we will live in a united world. We will stand together strong. Everyone will have a voice, and together we will find harmony. We will find peace. I put the blade back in its scabbard, signaling that I'm almost done speaking. Raising my fist in the air, I gave one last shout, one last call to unify our cause. For the monarchy. With a wide smile and met with a large round of applause, I jump off the crate. Taking it as a sign we're ready to depart, the pirates start prepping to set sail. I should probably meet with Damek and Hal one last time before deciding what to do. As I approach them, I notice they look happier than I've ever seen. I never saw myself as a public speaker, so I'm quite surprised at what happened. Doubts of my efficiency were still there, but seeing my comrades smile helped that worry dissipate.
Eloquently put, Monarch. Better than my own speeches, I have to admit. I could see just how much everybody looks up to you.
It was quite impressive, we must say. You're going to make a fine leader. We're sure of it. The greatest asset of any ruler is the ability to inspire hope.
And I'd say we have that in droves now. I trust that you're okay with our plan, Monarch. Sorry that we didn't have time to pass it by you first.
That's your job. Like, y'all doing your job, man. I hired y'all to make the rule, like the plans.
Good. It seems everything is now in order. Perhaps you should go and get some rest, Monarch. We will wake you if there are any matters of importance.
Yeah. We need you rested when we reach Balteus. You know our plan, and the pirates are about to set sail. There's nothing left for you to do. At least for now.
I guess he was right. Until we arrived, things were out of my hands. After thanking them for the opportunity, I make my way back to crew quarters. I value the opportunity to rest, but given the circumstance, that rest won't come easily. Halen and Shane gather at the docks of Balteus. Surrounded by Otter Guard, they order them to prepare a small fleet. I knew that they were going to meet us. They knew the end was coming, and they had to meet it head on.
What was your reasoning behind this again? I'm surprised the Triumvirate decided to play along with your plan.
They have to come by sea, and this is the main point of entry. If we leave from here, we can intercept them before they arrive. The plan is to thin out their numbers as early as possible.
What if this fails and they sink our fleet?
Scared of dying, are you?
No, that's not what I meant. It's a valid concern, Shane.
Well, in my case, I don't really have anything left to lose. Let me lead this charge myself, Halen. You can go back to the castle. You'll be needed there for a second line of defense, if they make it that far.
I trust that they won't.
Me too. Just tell the triumvirate I'll be there soon. I have no intention of dying. Not to any of those weaklings.
Shane, I just want you to know you're bitch made as fuck. Shane instructs the honor guard to get aboard the ships. It's a small fleet of only a few ships. Halen watches and scoffs.
You have a death wish. You know that. I get that you hate them, but don't throw your life away. The triumvirate rewards service. Keep that in mind, all right?
Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I'll be back before you know it, so go and have a rest. Just wait, Halen. If they even arrive, you'll find that their hope is lost.
Punks. Both of you. Halen smiles a sinister smirk. He knows exactly what Shane is implying.
Very well. I can get behind that thought. Be careful, though. You're a good apprentice, Shane. I trust that you and the honor guard will do some real damage.
Yeah, that's the idea. I'll see you back at the castle.
Sure.
Halen starts to walk away, but quickly turns around.
You know, Sovi never let me do stuff like this. As his apprentice, he shut down almost every plan I ever had. I have to be better than him, though. I'm trusting you with a lot here.
Don't worry, I promise not to let you down. The rebellion ends today. You have my word, Master.
You know, I just realized he doesn't know that Damek is alive, right? I can't wait to see him see Damek. Halen nods and starts making his way back to the castle. Oh my god, I just thought of something. Is Shane still technically on our side and was doing that to, like, get more info? Because, like, I remember one specific line from the Mazayan attack whenever the arrow hits us, and it said Halen almost, not Halen, Shane was almost, like, trying to miss. Was that the plan? Or, like, he just wanted to kill Damek, but he didn't want to kill the rebellion. I don't know. He could have just been a shit shot. Shane remains, muttering to himself with trembling fists.
And it all starts with that little figurehead of theirs. It's almost time, Cirrus. You'll be joining Damek soon enough.
You a bitch. I ain't gonna die to you. Halen, I might. Triumvirate, I might. But I'm taking your ass to hell before I'll go. I toss and turn, getting minimal amounts of sleep. The blade rests against my bed, ready to grab at a moment's notice. I fade in and out of sleep, fighting a mixture of both anxiety and tranquility. Just when I'm about to fall asleep, a negative thought jolts me back awake. We have no idea what would happen when we arrive at Balteus. It was terrifying. I realize that sleeping probably isn't going to happen right now, so I get out of the hard bed. Just as I do, I notice somebody approaching out of the corner of my eye. Grabbing the blade, I prepare myself for anything out of a twisted paranoia.
Hey now, put that thing away. I didn't mean to startle you, Monarch.
Yeah, just Vivian, that's a relief.
It appears there's been some complications. Damek wanted me to tell you that you're needed on deck. You'll see what I mean when you get up there, alright?
So, they're here. I nod, it must be important if he's interrupting my rest. As I start to walk away, Vivian puts a hand on my shoulder.
And I just wanted to tell you that I know what happened in Alarinthia. I know that Pro and Ulrich teamed up in order to throw our fight.
A gulp, unsure of how Vivian would react to such news. But much to my surprise, he lets out a hearty laugh.
You know, I always said that Alarinthia needed to be ruled with smarts. Draco would just sit in his throne, thinking that strength solved everything, using a scheme like they did to outsmart him. It's almost poetic, isn't it?
Yeah?
Besides, it also sent a message to every Alarinthian. Their old way of doing things was wrong. Individual strength doesn't matter. It's how strong we are when we team up, under shared ideals, that truly matters. And for sending them that message, I commend you. Good luck out there on the deck. I think you'll need it.
He releases his grip on my shoulder. For a moment, I was scared things would go south. I'm glad he's so accepting of what transpired. Dropping the issue from my mind, I head up to the deck. I had no idea why Damek needed me, but that thought was frightening. Slowly ascending the steps, my mind is plagued with unfortunate possibilities. And all of them come true. As soon as I arrive on deck, I see exactly why I was needed. Off in the distance, we're met by a fleet of ships belonging to the triumverint. They're far, but not far enough away that the sheen of the honor guard is concealed. Damek and Hal immediately run over. I could see the panic on their faces. It was clear that the battle would be imminent. I meet them halfway to see what their plan is.
We have no plan. Perhaps this is time for Damek to shine. A master strategist. Is that not what your people say?
Oh, don't y'all start bitching at each other!
Hal, this is no time to be petty. We need to put our heads together and figure this out. Let's see. It's a small fleet, maybe only half the size of ours.
Naval warfare was not something the monarchy practiced. We lived in peace, Damek. Our world was not discordant like this one.
Bro, fuck off, y'all. We exchange glances. Damek seems uncertain and a little worried. He strikes a pose of thought, and it's a while before he breaks the silence.
Okay, I'll do it. We know this battle is lost if the Monarch doesn't make it ashore. So our goal should be securing the safety of this boat and the lives of those on board. This is when we need to rely on everyone's strengths. We need the pirates to take action.
Yeah, isn't like this their thing? He waves over Alex.
Alex, we need you to order your forces to charge. This is precisely why I wanted to form a treaty, for battle at sea. I need you to occupy the forces. Distract them while we slip by.
Slip by? They'll notice you right away. Baltean ships are equipped with projectile weaponry. One or two good shots and you'll be underwater in minutes.
That's what I'm counting on.
Huh?
Huh?
We're going to let them sink this ship.
Are you crazy?
Make
I
them
have a
think
plan,
we're dead.
Alex. Everybody, listen up. We'll time it so we're close by when they hit us. As we sink, we can hop over to their ship and hijack it. Using their own projectile weapons, we'll start sinking them one by one. Their attention will be divided. They'll be getting attacked from multiple sides. We can use that to our advantage. They won't be able to retaliate through the chaos.
Right, of course. Should I send the order right now?
Yeah, we need to do this immediately. There's no room for error. This is the end.
Yes, sir.
Alex runs off and climbs the netting of the ship. I look over to the other ships and pirates start doing the same. It's almost like they have an entire language to communicate over long distances, because they do. That was an impressive sight to see. However, seeing Damek think on his feet was equally impressive. Hold on, my back. It's just something fierce. There we go. I was trying to do it like not full on Blue the Bear style, but I guess that's the only kind that works. With a sigh and a smile, confidence overtakes the panic from moments before.
Damek, we must say, that was pretty impressive. Hopefully now you realize that visions only hold you back.
Wait, what?
Huh?
Look at what happened back in the Rebel HQ. You relied on a vision. You tried to fulfill some prophecy. In a way, that is limiting. You plan your strategy around certainties.
Oh.
But there are no certainties in war. Assume that the enemy is accounted for your every action. In this case, we should also plan for a scenario where the enemy prevails.
Damek shakes his head.
They won't. Simply because we can't afford it. Any losses at this point would mean the end of our cause. Trust in the pirates, Howl. Trust in all of us. We can do this.
Howl simply nods. Moments later, the pirates launch their assault. We all lose our balance as our ship takes a sharp turn, moving in a new direction. This was a risky plan, but like Damek requested, I choose to place my trust in him. If trust wouldn't carry us to victory, then it would be our strength and resolve. I hold onto the side of the ship as our speed increases. Everyone braces themselves. They're not sure what's going on, so Damek draws his sword and raises it into the air.
Everybody listen up. The final hour is upon us. Our pirate army will be charging against the enemy fleet. While they're distracted, we'll slip in and hijack one of their ships. That means we'll be sacrificing this vessel. So don't be alarmed if they deal us a fatal blow. As we're sinking, we'll jump over and board the enemy. Their ships are equipped with projectile weaponry. Using their own ship, we will turn their weapons against them. They won't know where to focus, and we'll use the chaos to our advantage.
He starts to talk a bit louder as our ship picks up speed. We move away from the main fleet, preparing to approach from the flank. I notice that the soldiers nod, accepting Damek's order and plan without hesitation.
If things go south, I need all of you to protect the Monarch. Without her, we will lose not only this battle, but the war as well. Her life and the blade that she carries should be our top priority. Do I make myself clear?
Huh. Everyone cheers in approval and raises their swords like Damek. Then we all stand and watch the bulk of our fleets as the battle begins. We slowly move away from the action, and I could tell that some are relieved. As soon as the pirates get close enough, the honor guard retaliates. They launch heavy projectiles from catapults and shoot harpoons from wooden structures. The pirates, with their sailing expertise, are mostly able to counter by altering their trajectory. However, not all of them can do so. I witness several ships get torn apart and start to sink. My heart sinks with them, knowing that they were willing to sacrifice themselves for me. It seems that the battle is on in full force. They will get closer and start to board each other. I can hear swords clashing as the honor guard tries to defend against the pirates' charge. Ships on both sides start to sink, and soon enough it's almost impossible to see what's happening. From this distance it's too chaotic, but if the enemy ships are sinking, we must have seized some weapons. That means the tables have started to turn, but it's up to us to play our part as well. I turn back and look at where we are headed. We're dangerously close to some enemy ships. Damek calls out to everyone, shifting their attention away from the distant battle.
This is it. There's no turning back. Everybody, brace yourselves to charge.
I can see the honor guard preparing their weapons. When I scan my surroundings, I can see our forces prepare as well. A line of archers form ready to attack the enemies at a moment's notice.
Hold!
He places a fist in the air. An intense silence follows. Both sides are armed. The question is, who will attack first? I take a deep breath and pull out the Blade of Exodus.
Hold!
I look over at the ships we've left behind. The number is easily halved. But this goes for the enemy as well. It's clearly the turning point. What happened next would decide the fate of our entire cause. And it began with a barrage of projectile weaponry. The enemy attacked our ships with everything they had. I could feel the hull getting torn apart and everything is starting shaking.
Fire!
The archers return fire, knocking out the suits of armor manning the weapons. I look back at the wheel of the ship and Alex spins it, turning it towards the enemy vessels.
I hope you're ready to jump!
Damek nods, and then a moment later everything erupts into chaos. Our forces jump to the enemy ship after a long running start. They land safely and start decimating the honor guard.
See you on the other side, Monarch!
With a smirk, he follows our soldiers, jumping across to the enemy ship. Landing with a roll, he immediately starts fighting, displaying impressive skill. I didn't get to see him fight at the HQ or in Altherinthia. It's quite a sight. He dodges the enemy attacks with ease and retaliates with expertise. Taking out multiple suits of armor with a single swing, he clearly holds his own. I turn around and order the remaining soldiers to charge. I save myself for last. But before I jump, I notice that Alex is still at the wheel. I shout his name and tell him to cross as soon as possible. The ship has already started to sink and water rises at my feet.
You know, any good captain is supposed to go down with their ship. But I guess there's no point living my life by an outdated code of honor. Thanks to the treaty, there'll be a new life waiting for me after all of this.
Oh, damn! He leaves the wheel behind and places a hand on my shoulder.
And honestly, it's all thanks to you. Let's make this jump together, Monarch. We're a team until the end, no matter what!
Oh god, he's about to get shot. No matter what. We move to the opposite side of the ship, putting distance between us and the enemy vessel. I notice that most of the honor guard has fallen and our shoulders are manning the weaponry. That's a good sign. With a feeling of victory is ours, Alex and I start sprinting towards the enemy. He makes it first, jumping on the railing of our ship and launching himself across the gap. I'm not too far behind and I jump on the railing moments after, however, I make it no further. An arrow pierces through my shoulder and I fall back onto our ship in a pool of freezing water. I pull out the arrow with a grunt. Blood oozes from the wound, but it's nothing major. And here's Shane. We could patch it up as soon as the enemy ships were taken care of. I rise to my feet. Looking up, I immediately notice the source of the arrow. It wasn't the honor guard. It was Shane. With an evil smirk, he jumps across, boarding our ship. It's sinking, but I have time. I could take care of him fast enough, then I'd be able to carry out my plan as I originally intended. Instead of coming for me, he runs towards the wheel, steering our ship away from the chaos. So we wouldn't be able to jump back on. I'm gonna drown. That wasn't good. My time was limited if we were both sinking and making the distance greater. He must know exactly what he's doing. Part of me wonders if we played into some sort of trap. I look at my allies. They seem to be doing a good enough job as they enact our plan. My fist shakes as I grip the blade of accident. Shane scoffs as he watches. I shout at him in anger and despair. I call him a traitor and condemn him. He almost killed Damek, and he caused irreparable damage to my family.
A traitor? Not from where I'm standing. Damek abandoned me, and it's all because of you. He's a selfish fool. All he cares about is that stupid sword.
I keep walking toward him, and the ship shakes violently. Water keeps spilling on the deck, and I'm standing almost ankle deep.
I had a plan. We had a plan. And he threw it all away. The moment you walked through that door, he let you replace me. He left me to rot in the triumpverint's prison because you were more convenient.
You can't talk to crazy and you can't talk to stupid, so don't even try. Just kill him.
You saw how many people died in your HQ during that little attack. If you couldn't wield that sword, you'd be buried down there with the rest of them. Damek didn't care about you or your friends. He only cared about your power.
I don't know why, but all of Shane's faces look so stupid to me. Like, he looks really fucking stupid to me. I think it's because I don't like him, so everything about him just seems more goofy to me. So, again, that's not true. He's clearly been converted by the triumvirint.
I was thinking long and hard about what I should do. You know, what was my place in all this?
Much to my surprise, he throws both his daggers on the ground.
And I realized that if I served the triumvirate, I'd receive the same power. It seemed fitting. End Damek's rebellion with the same thing he was relying on.
He smirks, and I could tell that man Damek cared about was already dead.
I wish he could be here to see this. But you'll tell him the story, won't you?
Huh? A moment later, he charged at me unarmed. But almost in a blink of an eye, the blade appears in his hands. Fuck a duck. Robbed from mine, I have no choice but to jump out of the way. I run the opposite side of the ship where he threw his pair of daggers. Picking them up, I assume a finest stance and wait for him to charge again.
Not strong enough to take it back by willpower alone? Thought so. You're weak. See, I was blessed by the triumpverint. All you got was worthless energy from the realm of spirits. Out of pity, too.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to know about the monarchy or the true nature of the power within me. Big surprise that triumverint lost shouldve when he found out. I should use this to my advantage. As he charges, I maintain the facade that I'm weak and unable to summon the blade back. I dodge to the side once more, but slice Shane's arm with one of his own daggers. He winces and grunts. The arm starts to bleed, but it doesn't seem to affect his performance. He charges again and I dodge to the other side. With a roll, I slice into his leg. He stumbles. I have speed and agility, while he relies on slow, brute strength. It's easy to tell that he's never fought with such a weapon before. From what I've seen, he can really only use arrows and daggers. Bitch, we haven't fought with any weapons. How are we able to do this? I just...
Is that all you got?
Pretty much. I won't be able to keep up the same strategy forever. I need to change it up while I think of how to end this. He charges me once more, but this time I meet him head on. Holding out the daggers in a cross formation, I stop the blade from going any further. We struggle, both almost equal strength, trembling as we try to overpower. How am I of equal strength of this guy who's been training since he was a child? I tell Shane that Damek is still alive. The spirits willed it because his cause was righteous.
Impossible!
He'd never comply if I told him to look for himself, so there's no way I could prove it. However, he seems to let up a little bit, and I'm able to overpower him some more. I push him away and tell him that it's all true. He's on the wrong side of this war.
No, you're the one on the wrong side. The rebellion is small and insignificant. Hundreds standing in a world of millions. Even if you win, they won't respect your power. They're happy living under the triumvirant's rule. Revenge won't solve anything. Just back down.
We circle around each other, both holding out our weapons.
I was hurt by the occupation, and I wanted to fight. But I realized I was being greedy. And there was no point. It's not my happiness, my satisfaction that matters. It's the world's.
We seem to have reached a stalemate, both trying to talk each other down. But I wouldn't yield, and something told me that he wouldn't either. His views have been twisted, and he thinks mine have as well. We charge at each other and meet in the middle once more. The water rises, and I can tell that time is minimal. We're sinking fast. Returning to the same deadlock as before, I'd need to do something. I'd need to summon the blade back when he least expects it. My time is limited, and honestly, it seems like Shane is beyond saving. But the question is, what do I do when it's back in my grasp? Oh, shit! Do I want to kill Shane or do I want to incapacitate Shane? I want to kill him, but because I want to kill him, I feel like that's the wrong thing to do, because I have done nothing but do bad decisions. Well, honestly, it really doesn't do any sort of love loss if he dies or lives, so I'm gonna do the call of my people. You're about to see what I learned as a child, and it's a very honored tradition to find the proper choice in which the universe wants you to do. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by his toe. If he hollers, let him go. My mom told me to pick the very best one, and you are it. Oh, hey. He didn't deserve to die. That much was clear. I just kept going, click. I didn't even have time to think. Okay, he didn't deserve to die. That much was clear. There had to be a chance that he'd see the reason in the future. If I went on to win this war, maybe he'd see things differently.
You took everything from me!
Bitch, either kill me or shut up. His anger and rage empowers him. I start to tremble even more. It takes a lot to resist the strength of a man wielding the Blade of Exodus. I do my best to buy time until I find the right opportunity I can test Shane's words.
You were born with everything I worked so hard to achieve! They were my family, my friends, and you took them all away!
He starts to get more desperate and angry. I decide to take action. You know, I can't even feel too bad, because, like, yeah, one, he was a stupid piece of shit for believing that, but say they had some, like, evidence that wasn't a piece of shit. Like, they had solid evidence that they had faked, not just one fucking letter. Like, that would pretty much fucking kill me on the inside. So I do have some empathy for him, but he's stupid, so I wouldn't be caught in the same thing as him. I let him overpower me, and I step to the side, dodging his next swing.
I hate you!
Good! But immediately after, much to his surprise, I fade the blade back into my hands. While he's caught off guard, I raise the blade in the air and smash the base against his head. He screams and stumbles back, knocked into a daze. I step forward and do the same thing again. I'm careful not to go too far, and the moment I find enough time to make my escape. He slumps down on the ground, almost knocked unconscious. I can hear him cry and whimper. There was no way to know if he'd make it out alive, but at least he had a chance.
Damek.
This was enough of a distraction. I had to get moving. Looking back at Shane, it's crushing how far he seems to have fallen. When I saw Damek again, it might be wise not to tell him what happened. I jump in the water and immediately start swimming towards the ship my comrades are on. But soon after jumping in, the freezing water makes my limbs feel stiff and my chest heavy. Finding it for as long as I can, I keep swimming. I know I can do this. This is no time to give up. When my vision fades back in, I can feel that I'm being dragged. What happened? My body is covered in snow and I'm shivering. I must have passed out back in the water. I shake my head and whoever is carrying me seems to notice. They put me down and sigh.
Oh, you're awake. This is good. When we found you in the water, we were starting to worry. We must ask what happened. And as we checked, you were right behind us.
Do you not see the hole in my shoulder? I tell Hal exactly what happened, however, I tell him to keep it a secret. I wouldn't want Damek to find out about Shane. He's been hurt enough.
Interesting. Do not worry. We will keep your secret. It is unfortunate how strong the triumvirate thrall can be. If we win, at least no more good men will fall under their command.
Fair enough.
We've set up camp at a nearby shack. Follow us, please. I'll make sure to give you an update on everything once you're safe. A lot has happened while you were out, so there is much to talk about.
Okay, good. Normally a statement like that would fill me with fear under these circumstances. But Hal says it was such a calm demeanor that I'm led to believe everybody is fine. Bitch, he always talks in the same tone. Holding that optimism in my head, I smile as we make our way towards the shack he mentioned. That is not a fucking shack! As soon as we arrive, I make my way to the shack and lean against it. That is a dope little house. We barely arrived in Balteus and everything was already chaotic. I don't know what I was expecting, so it's not actually a surprise either. All my comrades are scattered about, talking amongst themselves. I'm glad that they survived. I try to account for them one by one as I look around. After a moment, something strikes me. I can't see either Morty or Valessa. Damek approaches me and he lets out a sigh of relief. I can imagine that my momentary disappearance stressed everybody out.
Good to see you, Monarch. I was worried. At least now almost everybody is accounted for.
Almost everyone? That worries me. I ask him where Valessa and Morty are.
They're out there somewhere. We just can't find them. Don't worry. They're not dead. We haven't found their bodies, and trust me, we would have. A ton of them washed ashore.
Well, no shit.
I'm just thankful that you didn't fall during the battle at sea. We're just going to wait around the shack until everybody turns up. You should probably use this time to relax. I know you couldn't before.
Relax while my best friends are missing? That was a tall order. I tell Damek that I might not be able to.
Look, it's not a good idea to resort to negative thinking. We stand on the verge of victory. This is a time to be hopeful. I'll go and look for them personally, okay? You should go and relax.
Yeah, you better get your bitch ass moving. I nod and thank him as I turn away. Scanning the area once more, I see who I can find. A few of the comrades I can find slowly gather around me.
Hey, good to see that you're still among the living. That was pretty intense, wasn't it? Sure scared me, at least. I'm not one for sailing or fighting, so combining both? Yikes.
Yeah, Pro was scared. Thankfully, I have strength for 2. He cowered in the corner while I did all of the hard work.
Did not.
Sure.
They share a quick laugh. But soon after that, I could tell that something is wrong. Is there something that I'm not being told about all this?
It's about Alex, Monarch. He's resting in the shack, in critical condition. I think we can nurse him back to health, but I'm not sure.
What happened? Oh no.
Look, it's probably best not to think about it too much. He's in good hands. We just need to forge on as a team. If it weren't for him, we'd all be dead at sea. This is a victory.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It was just important that we gave you a status report. I think once everybody gets here, we'll hold another meeting. Our strategy may need some adapting after these losses.
Fair.
Yeah, go take a breather. You deserve it. Right now, our options are pretty limited.
It's not ideal, but he's right. All we can do right now is wait. Thanks for the chat, Monarch.
I guess there wasn't much left for me to do. I made my way to the shack, hopefully to relax. But I was chasing an impossibility. I'd find no rest here. Not until everything was over. And that would mean we'd either win or die. As I enter the shack, I pray that it's the former. As soon as I'm inside, I let out a huge sigh. The emotions behind it are almost undiscernible. There was so much going on, my mind was overwhelmed. I guess I should take care of the important stuff first. The pirate forces suffered heavy casualties and Alex was almost lost. I could see him resting on a small bed that sits in the corner of the shack. He notices me and waves me over. It's a soft motion, I can tell he's in pain.
Hey, how are you holding up?
I tell him that I'm doing alright.
At least that makes one of us. I almost died. One of my men shielded me. That's the way to power, I guess. Watching them die.
Yeah. He winces in pain, and I see the wound on his abdomen.
Never gets any easier, though. Hey, can you promise me one thing?
Yeah. I nod, and he waves me even closer as his voice weakens. He holds out a hand, and I shake it with a firm grip.
Give them hell for me, Monarch. If I die, I want to die knowing that we've won. Show them no quarter. They don't deserve it.
Understood? I nod and then release the grip on his hand. He dozes off into slumber and I decide to leave him be. Rest would be important right now. He shouldn't force anything. After standing up, I look down at him. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't even be here right now. I smile and silently thank him for all that he's done. There isn't much left to do but rest, I suppose. I move to the corner and press my back against the wall once more. Hopefully they're able to find Valessa and Morty. I can't lose them now. I'll rest here for a while and gather my bearings. This is not a time for freaking out. Oh, hey. So is there stuff to do in here? Is there anything to click? No books. No nothing. Okay, that looks like a good place to stop for today. Alright, so we're finally on our way to Balteus. We got to Balteus, but only after we got our ass kicked at sea. Which I'm surprised they didn't see that coming. Did they really think that everybody was just going to sit on their ass and just wait for us? Like, and even if they did wait for us, they were going to meet us at the fucking beach. Like, I don't know. Anyway. So, Alex is, alive, thank God. Shane may or may not live. Don't know. But, of course, my faith is to whoever wins eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So, yeah. Personally, I probably would have, decapitated him, but that wasn't an option. If it said specifically decapitate, I would have chosen that, because that would have been fun. Anyway, fuck, I'm such a monster, aren't I? Let's see how worse it can get, because if we can't find Morty and Valessa, this is gonna go from bad to worse. But let's just be honest, they're not gonna offer much in the way of help, Wait, what's my outro? If you like what you see, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you can see my content in the future. Also, while you're here, if you have any game suggestions or you just want to say hi, leave it down in the comment section below. I'm Daisy Hyena. I'll catch you on the next vid.